I have the overlay up. That helps. There we go. Haha. I know what I'm doing. Welcome everybody to the Greg Cherry Show. I still don't have the background because I'm not prepared today. Wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. I did it.
It's all my fault, y'all. Sorry.
What's up?
It's all my fault. We're late, guys. Sorry.
Hey, wait. It's fine. We got the show going. Of course, alongside the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham, I am, of course, your host, Sylvester Turkey. So I would like to thank you all for joining me. And about 3 of you might get that pun with what tomorrow is and a wrestler of the past. So what are we doing on today's show, Jeff?
What are we doing? Well, today, I have no freaking idea what we're doing on today's show, but that's why you're here, because it's a Greg Cherry Show. So yes. Obviously we're doing football wrestling talk because that's what we do on Wednesdays. I assume, yes, I can say because of the imminent college and professional football stuff coming up, Ohio is our subject for Weird Law Wednesday, because yeah. And then, of course, the Q&A. Wednesday's Q&A is Wednesday, so we must do Q&A. And I think the question on everybody's mind as we go into tomorrow is Thanksgiving, as you mentioned at the top of the show and in the description. That means we're actually one day closer to Friday, which Friday, of course, is the finale of the season finale, I should say, of the NoDQ.com Wrestling Trivia Challenge. And how you're sitting there right now in your own hot seat and not having a mild stroke from the pressure is astonishing to me.
You know, it's one of those things where I'm not going to have that pressure on me until I'm actually in that mode. You know, right. Right. Sitting here doing the show, this is a fun show for both of us, really. Right. And while I will have my defense against Virtue this Friday, which is simulcast for the first time and only time this season because it's the season finale. Right. It will be simulcast on not only the Greg Cherry brand where the entire season's been. If you haven't been over there, go subscribe. It'll also be on the Jeff Meacham Network for the first time. And also on the NoDQ channel for the first time since I believe our Iron Man match.
So. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. Yeah, so that we're looking at a year and a half of no actual trivia matches on the NoDQ brand channel. Wow, that shows you how white guy I am. So that's very cool that we get to have everybody one way or the other see what happens on Friday, and I love it.
Yeah, and it's going to be a historic day, one way or the other. Whether I retain the championship and then hit 1,000 days the following week,
right?
And we will make official announcements if that in fact does happen. If I do retain, official announcements for the future of the show will be made shortly after.
Right,
because nothing is official until that day happens, and if I don't retain, then next season's gonna kick off with Virtue defending against me because rematch class. Yeah, I mean that's how that goes. But enough about Wrestling Trivia Challenge for the time being. Let's get into some football and wrestling talk. And as the last couple weeks have been, we're not alone. Joining us, as he has the last couple weeks, my fellow Steelers fan, going 10-0, as we do. Big Baller G is in the house. What up, G?
10. I'm doing good. Before everything else, we do have some breaking news from NFL. The Steelers-Ravens game will be postponed until Sunday afternoon. I'm not too sure if it's 1 o'clock yet or 4:25. Now there you go.
Yeah, I saw that right before we came on the air. I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Right?
It's like, how, they did this crap with the Titans too. Yeah. And they postponed the game, so the Titans essentially got more time to prepare for the Steelers. It's like, now why are you getting to do it with the Ravens? because they can't keep their crap together. That's not the Steelers' fault. This is the second time this season that the Steelers have to essentially, not that not having a short week anymore isn't a bad thing, but it's just the fact of the matter is if the Ravens aren't ready, then they should have to forfeit the game or play with their weak staff. It's not Pittsburgh's fault that teams aren't following protocol.
Nope. And it, like you said, it sucks. I mean, like I was all prepared. I hope we still wear I still hope they wear their color rush jerseys on Sunday because I love them jerseys.
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I just, at least for Greg, there was a whole mindset going in about, he was going to have the Steelers on Thursday and then watch the Notre Dame game early Friday and then come into the trivia hot seat and do his thing. So now it's a whole new preparation process. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. But before we get more into what the ongoings of the NFL are, we have another guest this week.
A 4-man panel on the Greg Cherry Show? What the heck?
4-man panel. I know. We're expanding. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show another football fan of the NoDQ group, hailing from the state, which we're doing the weird laws from today.
Ohio!
It's the Cleaver Colin Andrew. Welcome, Colin.
What's going on, gentlemen? How are we?
Doing good, doing
Pretty
good.
Well, looking forward to this episode. Maybe you can explain some of these weird laws that we're going to get into in a little bit. But I know you, sir, are also a football fan of the Cleveland Browns, who are now second place in the AFC North.
Right? Like, is hell frozen over or what?
I mean, the Browns have more wins than if you combined multiple NFC East teams together. Which we'll get into. But everybody in this chat today, all of our teams won on Sunday, so we're all good there.
Yeah.
Cowboys beat the Vikings, the Browns won their game, and of course the Steelers made easy work of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
That was
so it should be really interesting because one NFC East team is getting their fourth win this week, unless there's a tie, which would be total. That would be totally on par for the NFC East. If Washington and Dallas went to a tie on Thursday.
So I was also reading the Steelers can clinch a playoff berth this coming Sunday if we win, and if the Raiders and Dolphins lose, we will clinch a playoff spot.
Or if one of them ties.
Yes.
If there's a loss and one ties, then yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
Which
I'm
would
not
be.
Gonna
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't really have much of anything. Go ahead.
No, like, I'm not going to root for Pittsburgh very often. Like, look, all right, so my whole father's side of the family is from the Clarion, Knox, Brookville area of Pennsylvania. Yes. And I grew up watching Steelers football. I just have never really become a fan. Pittsburgh hockey, okay. But that's another subject for another time. But I need Pittsburgh to beat Baltimore because it helps us in the advantage. Even if we lost, we still have a little bit of an advantage in the division. So this is the only time I'll root for Pittsburgh. So you caught me on a good day, boys.
I mean, it was like the Patriots-Ravens game where I was rooting for the Patriots and I felt sick to my stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. It's not the same Patriots team that Tom Brady had. And speaking of Tom Brady, the Bucs fell also. So it makes you have the whole narrative of, were Brady and Belichick just a lethal combination? Because separately,
they're not.
You know,
Right?
I think Monday's game was, the third game this season that he's had 2 or 3 interceptions in prime time. So Brady's just getting up there.
Well, there is that. We talked about this, I think, last week, Greg. The fact that people, I am never going to be the one to give Belichick any credit whatsoever. If we weren't on NoDQ's channel, I would use my traditional "Fu Belichick" phrase right about now. But the fact is, him and Tom work. They gel. They always have gelled together very well. And you notice the Patriots are a spaz right now because it's not Belichick and Brady, it's Newton and Belichick, and the Bucks can't seem to decide if they want to have a great game or try to spank their own ass with both hands. They know they want to do it. They have no idea what they're doing. Well, so again, I don't want to give credit to Belichick in any case whatsoever, but he and Brady do seem to have that magic touch when they are united. And neither one of them are doing very well for themselves for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah. I believe they're under 500 for the first time since the year 2000, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty sure that's what Mikey said yesterday during this Monday. I forgot.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, dude, Monday during the sports bar. Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
It's definitely a weird year for not only the NFL, but also college football. And the first college football rankings came out on Tuesday, so yesterday.
Yeah.
And the top 4 teams in college football, according to the College Football Playoff Committee, number 1, Alabama Crimson Tide, whatever. Number 2, Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
That's it, brother.
Makes me happy. Number 3, and number 2 and 3 are going to change before all is said and done, because number 3 is Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Now, obviously, if things continue the way they're going, Notre Dame and Clemson are going to play each other in the ACC championship. Now, should Notre Dame make it to that game unbeaten, there is a possibility that regardless of what happens in the ACC championship, the Irish make the playoff, depending on how that title game goes.
Right.
If it's a blowout, maybe not as much, but if it's a close game, chances are the Irish are going to be there one way or another. Clemson is in a must-win situation because in the brief history of the college football playoff, no 2-loss team has ever made the top 4.
Right.
So it's a very tough thing. Ohio State is complaining about the fact that they are behind a 1-loss Clemson. I understand that to a certain extent. However, Ohio State has yet to be really challenged. I mean, Indiana gave them, I don't want to say they gave them a decent game because it was 35-7 at one point, but Indiana nearly came back and tied that thing up. But Ohio State needs that signature win. And despite how the Indiana game went, despite it being a top 10 team, I don't think that was their signature win. Notre Dame has that signature win with Clemson, and Alabama is just Alabama. So,
yeah, I mean, it just I say I use the royal we like it's all anybody but me, but we're not a huge fan of Bama being the top ranked team, but they manage to stay up there every year for some ungodly reason. I'm an Ohio State guy as far as college football because my dad's from Ohio, and it's I root for them. I root for my little engines that could out here, UCLA and USC. But just I would love the scenario of and again it's gonna sound silly coming from me, but I would love the scenario of the Irish going undefeated the whole way through, Pittsburgh continuing their dominance in the NFL, and whatever happens Friday with you, Greg, it's been a hell of a season for the Greg Cherry brand and its respective teams and their respective leagues. So there you go.
So I'm here on Twitter, and first from Juju Smith-Schuster. First, the NFL takes away our bye week because another team can't get their COVID situation together. Now they take away our Thanksgiving plantain game for the same reason, shaking my head. And then Chase Claypool, number 11 from Notre Dame, he wrote, "What a joke, ...
I saw both of those on my Twitter right before I started the show. I do want to address this from Elon Brown. Would Notre Dame have won if Trevor Lawrence played? That is a big talking point because Trevor Lawrence was out with COVID for that particular game.
Yep.
And say what you will, but their backup quarterback is still a 5-star recruit, and he played excellently against both Boston College and Notre Dame. I don't think the level of play would have made that much of a difference. I really think that, they didn't win because Trevor Lawrence didn't play. I think that quarterback is on the level of Trevor Lawrence. And maybe if a couple plays didn't go the Irish's way, maybe. But the fact of the matter is, Notre Dame played them hard. They beat them. You still had pretty much all of your guys for the team. You might have had a couple injuries and a couple people out. But this is a completely different Notre Dame team than they played in the college football playoff 2 years ago. Completely different team. This is a team that is an offensive juggernaut with not a lot of great weapons, which sounds weird to say, but when you lose guys like Chase Claypool and Cole Kmet to the NFL, they were kind of struggling in the early parts of the season getting some offensive drives going. However, Ian Book being the quarterback that he is, Tommy Rees being the offensive coordinator, doing some great things in Notre Dame, and I'm very happy with what they're doing. And their defense, while they've given up quite a few points in the last couple games, are still playing well. They're still getting turnovers. They're making great plays. I really think this is a more complete Irish team than played in the national title game 2 years ago. Yeah. So we will see come the ACC championship again if things stay the way they have been. Would Notre Dame win if Trevor Lawrence played? We will get that answer in mid-December.
Yeah.
But going back to Chase and Juju being upset, I mean, we talked about it at the top of the show.
Yeah.
They have every right to be because
the
Titans basically got a pass, and now the Ravens are getting a pass. It's like, oh, you didn't follow the rules? Oh, it's okay. It's against the Steelers. You're fine.
Yeah. And there's
damn well if multiple Steelers had tested positive for COVID, they would have had to forfeit games and lose games that way because it's like, oh, well, you don't have a bye week, so you just kind of got to deal with it. It's like, no, you don't get to pick and choose the rules you apply. It's just absurd. Why shouldn't the Ravens have to forfeit or, like I said earlier, play with a weaker squad? If you don't have guys to fill up your positions, that's your fault. You don't follow protocol. You had the same problem. You tested positive for COVID the day after the Steelers game. Come on, Baltimore. We know your season's hanging on by a thread. I don't even think you're in the playoff race right now.
No, they're in the
thanks to your loss on Sunday.
They're in the hunt right now.
So, it's not our fault that you're behind Cleveland. It's the Baltimore organization is falling apart at the seams, and you have nobody to blame but yourself. So it's ridiculous that the Ravens get a pass and essentially get 3 more days to prepare for an undefeated Pittsburgh team.
Yep. And you know what? We're just going to prove a point and just beat the holy hell out of them. I mean, it'll be a close game, but everybody's figured out how to cover Lamar Jackson. He doesn't have a great throwing game when he can't run. Our defense is number 1 in sacks and number 1 in interceptions right now.
Yep.
We're going to break the record of sacks. I think it's 56 right now or something like that. We're on 38.
Well, I think there was another sack stat. I'm probably not talking about the same one. Consecutive games with at least one sack. They are 2 away from, I believe, a Tampa Bay team a few years ago for most consecutive games with at least 1 sack. I don't see them breaking that record, or I don't see that record
being broken,
dissipating this weekend now that the Steelers aren't playing on Thursday. I kind of had a feeling that it was going to happen. I'm just frustrated that it is.
You even called it when I had told you that it looks like they're going to still play, and you had told me that they're probably going to move it, and sure enough.
But now what do you do for that primetime spot on NBC?
They're just going to have 2 games now, from what I read.
That's so dumb.
Yeah.
They'll probably put like Elf or something on them spot.
So let me ask you this, Jeff and Colin, Colin's AFC North and Cleveland Browns, and Jeff is Cowboys fan. Do you see the Steelers going undefeated this year, going 16-0?
Well, don't we get to play y'all again?
The last
game of the season, you get to play us.
Okay, I think you'll go till then, and somehow in this twisted 2020 year, Cleveland will get a little vengeance and shut it down 15-1.
Okay.
See, I think the only team that we have to worry about, I know it goes to Jeff too, but I think the only team we have to worry about is Buffalo.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, first of all, instead of running a third game, we can run the Macy's. Oh wait, that's right. God, I can't envision them not going undefeated now, because I've got myself such in that mindset now of hoping for it to happen for y'all's sake that I can't. I purposely can't envision any other scenario playing out, because whatever you put out there happens. So I have to just say no. 17-0 or 16-0, whatever the case may be. No, they're going undefeated. They really are.
There you go.
And can I touch on something real quick when you guys were talking about how Alabama is number one, right? That's what you said.
Right.
Yes.
And you were one, everyone's like, yeah, we hate that they're on top. Has anyone ever been to Alabama?
No.
All right. So my father moved there years ago, and I went and visited a couple times. And when they have Roll Tide rolled out in Christmas lights in their yard everywhere, we went to the Iron Bowl. That was the craziest experience of my life. And that is why Alabama football is the way Alabama football is. That state is ridiculous when it comes to football. That game I will never forget. And I've got to do some really cool things. I got to play halftime at the Outback Bowl 2004 in Tampa Bay Buccaneers Stadium. I got to do that. That was awesome. But that game, being in that crowd, that was insane. That was nuts. So if anyone was wondering why Alabama has the reputation, just look at anything in the state. It's stupid.
There you go.
I just want to address this. Domestic Butler, probably another few minutes. We love our football. There's 4 guys who are very passionate about football here, and we've gone 45 minutes at some time. So when we're done, when we cover everything, then we cover everything. But just wanted to let you know, it's going to be a commonplace. Once football season is over, I'm going to be struggling for segments. Because this is a popular segment. We love our football.
Yes, it is.
And we'll figure it out. Let's see. NFC East. Still a dumpster fire. Still the Eagles on top of that division at 3-6-1.
Yeah.
But the other 3 teams are 3-7. So it is anybody's division to win, which sounds ridiculous.
So
and the Cowboys on Thursday have a chance to overtake the division lead by playing the Washington football team.
Yeah. And that's if I get to see it, because we got freaking Edison warning us of a potential shutdown of power due to the fire danger. It's like, oh, so not only do I get to have no family over except the immediate for Thursday, but I may have to freaking find a transistor radio to listen to the damn Cowboys game on Thursday. Okay, great.
I mean, how much more is California is there left to burn? That's my question. It's on fire every year. Things don't grow back that fast.
I think what happened is Ron Williams made a very good point in his last special. During that big fire we had, whatever year that was, that everything went up, in the California forest. Those California forests are full of freaking weed, man. So the freaking firefighters like, you know what the hell they're doing? They're all stoned out trying to fight the fire, so they get all spastic and confused. So that's probably why everything's burning, because they haven't shut everything down yet. Because they think, make a rainbow, Tommy. It's like, oh, geez. So I kid, but I brought this up on Musings yesterday, talking with Adam Contrast about that, because he's a California transplant. He came out here 20 years ago, so he's seen all the crazy of the fires that we've had all these years. It's it's unfortunate that we have to deal with that, but it is the reality of what we have to deal with. And, luckily they're not going to have a fire danger necessarily in Washington or in Dallas. So that game will play. It's just a matter of how I get to see it. We do that every year. The Cowboys game is on TV, and the prepared turkey or ham, whatever, is on the plate. And now we're just like, okay, we have half the family we usually do, and we're gonna maybe have to not and all that have to do the thing in the dark in the first place. Have to have freaking candles and lanterns going just to make sure we can see our food to eat it. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just bananas. JJ in the chat room makes a very good point. It was asked about what do you do in that primetime slot now that Pittsburgh and Baltimore have been moved? Why couldn't NBC have a best of show to air, during the parade time slot? I think that's why they have the one game so early, Jay, because I think the first game is like at 9:30 our time.
Yeah, it's like 12:30.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that's why they moved that game up so high, up so early, is because there was no Macy's Parade to put in that slot. Now, granted, Macy's Parade starts at the crack of dawn, East Coast time, pretty much. So there is that still big window of nothing going on. But I do appreciate JJ's sentiment here. It's like, again, we've been in a pandemic since March, and not that we can ever prepare for anything like this full bore, but NBC has had, in theory, 8 months to put something together.
Yeah.
So,
well, the way I look at it is, first of all, I think the Colts have been playing at 12:30 on Thanksgiving every year for the last as long as I can remember. So that's always been a thing, regardless of whether there's a parade or not. But I do agree with JJ that why could you not prepare something to make it seem like that there's still a parade? Like, doing the digital thing is like, okay, I understand you're trying, but do a best of, and like make sure you put it's a best of, like previously recorded or something like that, to not give the illusion that, hey, here are a bunch of New Yorkers out on Thanksgiving during this time frame. Just being like, hey, screw the rules.
I mean, I'm sure they'll do that for the big New Year's Eve thing.
I mean, you're almost going to have to.
Yeah, can you imagine that many people in that little bubble of space in Times Square on New Year's? Dude, talk about a freaking COVID hotspot. It's like, here, just freaking have a freaking Lysol overlay with a freaking scooper chopper, and you're good to go. Like, Jiminy Christmas.
Well, I did hear on the news yesterday they are still going to drop the ball in Times Square, and they're not going to have anybody there. And if people are trying to go in there, they're going to have the police there, obviously, to tell them to go away, pretty much. So it'll be different, but
yeah. I mean, as much as I've cacked on Ryan Seacrest's presence on every single thing we ever watch ever lately, I can't imagine not having Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. It doesn't work for me. JJ, you mentioned the Rose Parade. That was canceled a long time ago, actually. They determined a while back there was going to be a Rose Parade. The city of Pasadena and the Tournament of Roses Committee, whatever the hell they're called, determined that they weren't going to be ready by January 1st. There was just no way. And rather than hold on to false hope, they went, okay, nope. So.
All right. Well, I think we've pretty much covered football. Is there anything else you gentlemen would like to discuss?
Go Browns. That's all I'm going to say. Go Browns.
Yeah. And honestly, since they're being forced to move and prepare differently, go Steelers just to shut up the league's ass. I mean, really.
Hey, we did it against the Titans.
We did. Yes. Barely, but we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So, are we moving away from football and wrestling, or just football right now?
Well, we can talk briefly about wrestling. Obviously, The Undertaker retired this past Sunday with the final farewell. And there's still a lot of people who are saying that it's still not the final farewell, but I think now it kind of has to be, because it was 30 years to the day. You can't have a better send-off. I mean, you could if it was in front of fans, but the times. There's no reason for him to come back and have another match. There just isn't.
No, and if y'all watched on Sunday, G was in the room with me during my complete mental breakdown. Yeah, my big mental breakdown during the segment. Spoiler alert! Hi, I didn't do this. I did this for JJ and forgot that he literally told me he hadn't watched it. I said, "Oh, hey, look at that!" I showed him the picture. I thought it was a nice touch that they added Paul Bearer to the whole thing, because he's the one guy that needed to be there that couldn't. People say, "Oh, well, Steve should have been there and Rock should have been there." It's like, Dwayne is on movie insurance. If he gets sick, dude, the whole freaking industry goes up and at him, because he's the biggest draw in Hollywood, even during the pandemic. He's the guy right now. And Steve Austin, dude, Steve had his own thing going after the pay-per-view. He was good. Like, he didn't need to be there in the ring with good old Mark Canterbury and Dennis Knight or whatever. He had his own 2-hour special with Undertaker after, so that was okay. Yeah. But yeah, of everybody that wasn't able to be there, Percy's definitely top of the list, and I don't shy away from it. I completely went into sobs because I miss that man to this day, and it was surreal to see him. I will say one thing. I don't know if I mentioned this on Talk Wrestling Monday or not, because everything's been a blur the last 2 days. They brought these legends out there to the ring. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We did.
We talked about it Sunday night, and we talked about it on Talk Wrestling too.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll just go ahead and defer to Greg and Colin because they weren't on with us. Why have all these guys come out there to literally make a parade of quote unquote legends? I say quote unquote because I mean, no shitting on Henry Godwin or Phineas, but yeah, okay.
I mean, it was the Bone Street Crew. Like we know,
right? Yeah.
And the only person of that group that wasn't available, obviously, Yokozuna.
Was Rodney, right? Yeah. So,
yeah.
If he was still alive, which, quite frankly, would have been a miracle if he could have made it 20 more years,
right?
Which is not a knock at him at all. Like, it would have been so cool to see him. But yeah, I don't know. It was a nice touch to bring out his shoot friends, essentially,
right?
With the Godwins, with Savio, and I'll admit I popped for Savio's music just to hear it again.
I did too.
It's like Savio Vega is on WWE TV in 2020. What is this year?
Yeah, it's funny. Adam sent me the little screenshot that he got about Edison possibly shutting this down. I mentioned the Cowboys thing, and he goes, "Yep, 2020 and 2020." Yeah. That's exactly what's going on. Just it's again, not having fans there is definitely different for Undertaker's thing, because it's one of those things where, did they need the fans? Of course they did. We always need our fans to feed off of whatever. But having the Thunderdome set up where all the graveyard and the smoke and it was a very cool setup and a very cool moment for him to have to or to be able to get to say his final words to the WWE. It was really cool how they set it up. Colin, you have a admirer in the chat room on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I don't have a Twitch account, so. That's funny. No, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like stating the obvious in the second statement, but yeah. But
I thought the Tesla coils were a good. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yes,
yeah.
Very cool.
So I don't know. I didn't like. I like the fact that everybody came out. But again, what was the point? And we got that video package, and next thing you know, Vince is in the ring. And
yeah.
I'm not going to lie. The best part about seeing Vince is seeing the freaking strut. You know what I mean? No, come on. No entrance, nothing.
Yeah.
And let me just say this. For all that Vince has done, he does not need to be on television anymore.
No.
Backstage is fine. Him running the company is fine. He does not need to be on TV anymore.
No.
Just the fact of the matter. I like Vince. He's done a lot of entertaining things on camera. There's other than that, like I think that should be his last time on camera because I don't think he'll ever pay tribute to anybody the same way as he did The Undertaker by design.
And the thing is, Greg, if you're not going to have DiBiase introduce him like he did 30 years ago, if you're not going to have Pritchard go on there in the ridiculous red face paint and do it, it's got to be Vince.
Did you see? I think the day after on DiBiase's Twitter, he did like a thank you to The Undertaker, and he recreated his intro from the Survivor Series.
Yeah, I did see that.
I'm gonna have to go look that.
I'm gonna have to go look at that. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I did not know that. So,
and he did go with it.
That's crazy. So the reason I asked about if you were going to do wrestling talk besides Undertaker, of course, because that's the top story of the next however long it's going to be. Yeah. I don't know if I was on the air talking about it or if I was just talking about it with a friend in general. Tropicana Field, where they're going to move the Thunderdome to starting on December 11th, December. December
11th, which is a SmackDown.
So apparently, I read this and I had to reread it a couple times to make sure I wasn't going nuts. Tropicana Field opened 30 years ago, ironically enough, in 1990, and was originally known as the Florida Suncoast Dome. In 1993, the NHL's Tampa Bay Lightning moved into the facility, and the name was changed to the Thunderdome.
That's ironic.
So
that's fitting.
They're ready for WWE to come in. And
I guess so.
They're And the only reason they changed the name in 1996 is because the Lightning moved to downtown Tampa. So then it became Tropicana Field when Tropicana Products, of course, the orange juice guys, or fruit juice, I got to be more specific, signed a 30-year naming rights deal. So that's why it's now Tropicana Field until 2026. But yeah, at one point, because the Lightning was called Thunderdome, so it's like that the irony there is not lost on me or anybody else, I'm sure.
That's just too good.
It's good shit, pal.
Too good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing I'll say about Survivor Series, other than the Undertaker stuff, there need to be stakes.
Yes.
And I said, and I brought this up, Sean Rossap on Twitter disagreed with me because they said they don't think that forward, which he's not wrong. But I said that the winning brand should be the brand represented in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Which should include NXT. Like, it shouldn't just be Raw and SmackDown. It should include NXT. So if NXT were to win, the main event of WrestleMania would be for the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
Well, you're expecting Sean Ross Sapp to agree with you as far as stakes. He doesn't know what stakes is because he won't have the true trivia master on his show. So
it's not technically his show. Granted, he owns that show. He's a 4-time Quizlemania champion, which, give me 1 second. You know what's going to happen.
You know what's coming. You know it's coming because, dude, I am all in full mode about Friday. So anybody that hasn't, I mean, how you've not done this yet just befuddles me.
Maybe should I hit 1,000 days, the respect will be there.
You would think so, but,
And I'm going to say something. If I beat Virtue on Friday, even today, because there's a Quizlemania going on today, and it's like a 14 thing. Hit them up with the hashtag Cherry for Quizlemania, because the greatest wrestling trivia mind ever should be on the show. If I had a little money to super chat myself, I'd do it.
Right.
So if anyone wants to send me $5, there's a PayPal link. No.
There goes.
I'm half kidding.
Half.
But yeah, going back to SRS, Sean Rossap, we agree on some stuff, we disagree on some stuff. I mean, it's natural for anybody with a wrestling opinion. But like I said, he thinks it's too far in the future for them to think, which, again, I can understand. But for the purposes of the Survivor Series to just be bragging rights, it doesn't mean anything. I kind of forgot who won just a couple days after it happened. It's like it doesn't mean that much anymore. Remember 2004, the main event of Survivor Series, where the winners got to control Raw for a period of 4 weeks?
Yeah.
That was an important match. It felt special.
Yeah. How about 2001, where the losing team's company went out of business?
Yes.
Like,
I mean, you need
a line, but
yeah. Now, granted, Survivor Series matches in the past didn't have those stakes necessarily, but the pay-per-view was centered around those types of matches. In fact, the first couple years they did it, Survivor Series was just Survivor Series matches.
Yeah, it took 4 years to have them not do only Survivor Series matches. It was what do you call it? 91 when Undertaker faced Hogan. Thank you. But yeah, we've all talked about this ad nauseum on our various shows, but how do you expect people to have stakes, Raw versus SmackDown, when you have a team? First, I've used this example time and time again. Seth Rollins was on Team SmackDown Sunday night. Mm-hmm. Seth Rollins has been Monday Night Raw for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you expect me to believe that the Messiah, the Monday Night Messiah, the savior of Monday Night Raw the last 4 years, is going to show up in a blue T-shirt and defend SmackDown's honor? Are you kidding me? After only a month of being there, it's like no draft, and people stay where they are. It makes more sense. But to have the draft not be in spring or even, late June like it was a couple times, to have it be a month before the Survivor Series showdowns, stupid.
And I know why they do it. It's their season premieres. I understand the point of it. The timing of it is terrible.
Yeah.
I understand for the ratings thing and from a broadcasting standpoint, I get it. For timing and storyline and everything, it does not make sense to do the draft in October. It just doesn't.
No, and with their one show being in a primetime slot on a major network, they can't help but do season premiere centric things.
No.
I get that, like you just said, Greg, but there are a million things you can do besides the draft. And you just did a draft thing last year after the season premiere of SmackDown. See, it's the series premiere on Fox of SmackDown. So, and to be fair, they stacked that card deep because Aaron and I were there. We saw, the Owens Shane resolution. We saw The Rock. We saw Tyson Fury there. We saw Cain Velasquez debut. There was a lot to unpack in that season, that premiere of SmackDown. And then they went in the draft right away. And again, last year also was Survivor Series. The only reason Survivor Series really had a huge thing last year is because there were 3 brands, and NXT hadn't been shuffled to freaking death.
You know what? That is the one thing I can thank the travel issues for Saudi for, because if it wasn't that, it probably still would have been Raw versus SmackDown. But they panicked and they needed something for SmackDown, so they had NXT Invade. Which led to the Survivor Series, which was probably one of the best Survivor Series in recent memory.
Yeah.
So if you have a solid story behind the Survivor Series, and let's face it, there was barely any invasion of shows or anything, which is to be expected during this time frame. There was none of that. It felt like, we don't really care that much. It's like, so why should we care? If you guys don't care to work together and whatever, it's so dumb.
Oh, Colin, let me ask you guys, because you were not letting you talk because I always talk too much. Do you think WWE feels like they're snake bit with the whole invading brands thing? Because you had your biggest star at the time invade a brand 2 years ago and get her nose pretty much John Cena'd by the dangerous one, Nia Jax, and then it completely shuffled the entire thing around. Because I think I said this on the air, but I'll say it again. Nia Jax is the reason we don't have Ronda Rousey right now, because Nia took out Becky. Charlotte replaced Becky at Survivor Series in 2018 when I was with there with Aaron, and Charlotte just completely destroys Ronda, gets DQ'd, and the hometown crowd eats it up against their own, and sends Ronda's mind into a tailspin. So does anybody feel like maybe I better not do that, or am I just reading too much into it?
Working yourself into a shoot, brother.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, Colin, am I wrong there, or just?
I kind of missed the first part of what you said. For some reason, I kept like breaking up for some reason in my ear.
Well, before Jeff goes into that, this guy, for some reason, I can't send a super chat. If you send what you're going to send to that PayPal, I can read it out because you can send a message along with that. So put the link for the PayPal into another window, and you can send it that way. Because that way I'll get it directly, as opposed to YouTube getting a chunk of it.
Right. What I had said was, I wonder if WWE feels like the whole brand invasion thing is a snake bit concept because of what happened with Nia and Becky 2 years ago.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be, because everything that Nia's touched basically has been kind of wrecked, if you think about it, in one way or the other.
Right.
So they can't fully do that. She's been an unsafe worker since the get-go. She still is an unsafe worker.
Yep.
And she will continue to be an unsafe worker. So I don't think that has anything to do with it, because if it did, she would have been sent away for more training or let go or something, because she's just a reckless beast.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really all I can say on that one.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's I get we're in a COVID situation, and I get they're trying to keep the roster separate, as Greg mentioned.
Yeah.
But at this point, everybody's in that Thunderdome bubble. Like, they're all there, right? Yeah. So why can't we have SmackDown invade Raw, vice versa?
Yeah, see, I thought that was weird too. I was like, okay, Survivor Series coming up. They've done it the past couple. They've done it forever. How long I can remember when they did the whole SmackDown versus Raw. And this year, I thought it was weird. I was like, okay, it could have been what you talked about with the whole Becky and Nia situation. But then last year they did it as well, But that was under the circumstances with the Saudi thing and NXT invading. But then you had Raw invade NXT, SmackDown, and you had all that last year. So I'm thinking it could be due to the COVID, or they were just like, this thing is getting played out way too much. Maybe we need to come up with something new, something fresh. Get rid of this whole SmackDown versus Raw crap. It's been outplayed for the past 10 plus years, maybe something like that. It's just come up with something original with Survivor Series. You could have had Team Rollins versus Team Mysterio. Do something like that, brand Survivor Series matches.
All right, now I don't want to cut off the conversation because we're almost at 2:00 and we're only in the first segment. So I'm going to table the wrestling talk right now because I'm sure we all want to get to this. It's Weird Law Wednesday, as we always do, and of course, since Colin's here, we're doing the Weird Laws of Ohio, and now we got multiple reactions from all of us. So let's kick this off.
Oh, I love this. It's my favorite segment of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. In Ohio, if you ignore an orator on Decoration Day to such an extent as to publicly play croquet or pitch horseshoes within 1 mile of the speaker's stand, you can be fined $25.
There's a lot involved in that statement.
That was a long one.
So you can't do. Okay, all right. So you can't interrupt or somebody speaking on a podium or a stage or whatever by doing. You can't play cocaine in front of the stage. Okay, I got it.
Or play horseshoes.
Can I stand there and just heckle him, like just randomly? I mean, not verbally. Can I stand there and just mess with him, or am I still paying $25 that way?
If you are outside of 1 mile, you're probably okay.
Oh, okay.
So if you're 2 miles away and you're like, "Oh, F this guy," you're probably fine.
That's dumb, dude. I've never heard of that one though.
But see, at that point, if you're more than a mile away from the speaker's podium in the first place, nobody's gonna give a shit what you're doing to mess with him anyway.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Good start.
Yes. Also in Ohio, it is illegal to fish for whales on Sunday.
Man, I wanted to. There goes my plans for Sunday.
I would love to see a body of water.
We have a game now Sunday, so we can't go do it.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Is there
My question?
a house of whale in Ohio, Colin? Or am I...
First of all, can you imagine just chucking out a line and like you start to reel it in and you start to pull out a freaking whale?
I mean, I've pulled out, walleye. I've pulled out.
There you go.
I've pulled out, catfish and stuff like that. But I've never seen no whales, and I've swam in this lake for 30 years, man.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Well, in that same vein, it is illegal to get a fish drunk.
That's still fun.
What are you gonna do? Just put it in a cooler full of open PBR or something, and just let it do its thing?
I mean,
Well, no, Colin. Okay, fine. You can't get him drunk. You bring the fish in, still alive. Let's take whatever. Hotbox that motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke them out, dude. I don't even care.
There's one I thought, Aaron. Sorry, there it is.
So can you not have beer batter fish in Ohio? Is that how that works?
I serve beer battered fish in my restaurant, dude.
No. Well, as long as they're not living and you don't get them drunk, you're fine.
Yeah, they're good.
Beer battered's okay. Beer pickled is the key. You can't.
Also in Ohio, breastfeeding is not allowed in public.
That's bullshit.
Actually, that has changed.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
has it?
How updated?
We don't know. Yeah,
this might be an outdated list, but they're just some of the weird.
Dude, I got three sisters. I have a child myself. I have a daughter that's a year old. I can tell you that is bullshit.
Okay, good.
So,
Or it's not enforced.
It's one of those things not everybody really likes to see, but I mean, I've seen it around. I've seen other people do it. I've seen, it's one of those. It's one of those things you see people shit on Facebook, but I mean, it's
you know what? If the kids got to eat, the kids got to eat, man.
And 9 times out of 10, they're covered up. All you're seeing is their feet hanging out. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's not like they're just sitting out and be like, oh yeah,
well, yeah,
baby's not hungry yet. I'm just gonna sit here. Yeah, it's not a situation like that at all.
It's Titty Tuesday. Woo! Well,
that's a whole other thing.
Yeah. So, okay, so figure this one out.
Oh, here we go.
No one may be arrested on Sunday or on the 4th of July. So this begs the question. If it's illegal to fish for whales on Sunday, you can't get arrested on the Sunday that you're fishing for whales.
All I want to know is how high were these people when they were writing these?
We said
I mean, that dude called me out earlier, but I'm calling these people out right now because this makes no sense at all.
We ask that every week, and we ask the other question every week. How many times did this happen before lawmakers went, okay, wait a minute, we gotta quell this?
Wait a second. Yeah.
Oh, man, too funny.
Right. In Akron, Ohio.
Here we go, Akron.
Shit.
No person shall solicit sex from another of the same gender if it offends the second person.
Why would all there is no amount of prodding or poking they'll have me touch that one.
Yeah, so Jeff, you're in California, right? So that's 1,600 miles from me. Yeah, that amount of a pull, I ain't fucking touching it. Sorry.
Yeah, nope.
My bad. Nope. No.
See, I know a couple LGBT people from Ohio. I don't know if they're living in Akron right now, but I don't think it would offend them per se. I mean, they're married, so
everyone's too sensitive. I'm not touching that. If anyone wants to side chat, we can side chat, but I'm not. Nope.
Yeah.
In Bay Village, Ohio, it is illegal to walk a cow down Lake Road.
I could see that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sketchy road, to be honest. I know exactly where it's at. It's on the west side of Cleveland. It's
man, there you go.
Yeah, it's a really old school part of the area.
That's
so.
fantastic.
Sorry, Betsy, we can't take you for a walk today.
Nope, not today.
That's right. Sorry, Betsy.
You don't go down this block. You go down that block.
That's right.
This one is good to know, considering I was there a couple years ago. In Canton, Ohio, if one loses their pet tiger, they must notify the authorities within 1 hour.
Right. Definitely.
I would assume so.
But here's my question. If the tiger is gone for more than half an hour, why you gotta be like, I still got 29 minutes left? It probably hasn't ripped anybody's flesh off. So like you said, within 1 hour, it's 59 minutes. So technically I'm letting you know.
Well, but is this Ohio at large, or where was this that you said?
Canton.
Okay, because how far is that from Cincinnati?
Canton. So Canton's close to Akron. They're about a half an hour apart from each other. So, let's see. Akron's an hour and 20 minutes for me. Cincinnati's 5 hours for me. So
Cincinnati's on the other side of Ohio.
I would say because Cincinnati Bengals is not really dangerous being out for more than an hour. I mean, let's be honest. So anyway.
No.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, speaking of Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, Ohio, anal intercourse is banned.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
But here's my question, because I think that law is bullcrap. Because Vontaze Burfict did it in the playoffs a few years ago when he knocked out AB. So,
Right?
Damn.
And he just screwed the Bengals right up there with that play.
Oh my God!
Shockingly enough, I have another friend, Colin. He's from Cincinnati, and I tell him that's the only reason he's born is because that law's in place. So I tell him that all the time. So
we get deep, folks. Wow.
It's the deep cuts today on Weird Laws.
That's it.
Wow.
We are wilders.
Yep. I hate you,
In
Colin.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
In Cleveland, Ohio, women are forbidden from wearing patent leather shoes lest men see reflections of their underwear.
What? Okay.
In all my years, I've never. Nope.
See, this is why I love having people that are in the state on during the segment because
Right.
Sorry, Aaron. I know it's the third F word. Colin's completely what the fuck right now. He has no like.
This is like I know some of these weird laws, but these are just like I was explaining to Ellen earlier, like the game of Weird Law Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I had explained to her the Boston, like you're not allowed to take a bath unless you have a prescription deal. Like it's just like, what are these people? Like some of these laws are just ridiculous. So I have to remember a lot of these and tell her.
Don't you remember the people in Boston? These are the same people that freaking threw perfectly good tea to the harbor just to prove points. So they're batshit to begin with,
Right?
And that hasn't changed in over 200 years.
No, it hasn't. They're freaking nuts up there.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Let's see.
Okay. Butler, I'm just gonna leave it there and then take it right back off right away. There it is, and there you go. Yeah. The Queen City is not known for its butt play. Apparently, there you go.
Isn't Charlotte from the Queen City?
There's two Queen Cities. Believe it or
I
not.
know. It was.
Yeah. And again, if you want to go down that road with Charlotte and no.
It's Tranquilo. Anyway, here we go. Next.
Ooh.
It's like a piece of plywood.
Stop. No, stop.
All right. In Lima, Ohio, any map that does not have Lima clearly stated on the map cannot be sold.
And Al Snow rests easy in his home going, yep, I did that.
That's probably very true.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
That's dumb.
It's dumb.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
In Lowell, Ohio,
Oh, here we
different
go.
than Lowell, Massachusetts.
Right.
F that city. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. That's it.
Yep.
It is unlawful to run a horse over 5 miles per hour.
Dude, if you're getting a horse over 5 in the city limits, God, good on you, man. Yeah, it's
None of that street horse racing, you know.
Right? I
Yeah,
mean,
right, that's
I
right.
don't know what the boys are going to do on Rumspring, but you know.
Oh, jeez.
Boy.
To Rev Nation, the actual law was straight up intercourse. So I think what you're suggesting is not out of the realm of legalities.
Oh man.
I don't even want to see that comment. I'll leave that.
No.
I won't. Just,
All right, cool.
yeah. All right.
In Paulding, Ohio,
I don't even know where that's at.
a policeman may bite a dog to quiet him.
What? There's so many freaking laws in these damn states that are okay with hurting animals. Like, Jesus.
I bet you that's real old because I'm pretty sure like Sarah McLachlan and friends would not appreciate that and would be all over it.
Yeah.
So what is that? PETA? Yeah, PETA. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Yeah.
ASPCA also.
Yeah.
No.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That
People-
thing that,
People eating tasty animals. PETA.
Oh, Christmas.
Have you never heard that?
We're gonna get sued today.
no, we're not.
Hope you're not looking for money because we don't got none.
Take that shirt off.
We ain't got none. No, we ain't got none. No, we. Anyway.
All right.
Lord.
Okay, how can you? I mean, you can control this to a certain extent, but what are you going to do about it exactly? In Youngstown, Ohio, you may not run out of gas.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen friends run out of gas and get ticketed because they ran out of gas.
It's actually a thing, folks.
And that's not just that's in my town too. That's just not in Youngstown. Yeah, like it's happened. I mean, it's a dick move for sure. But
I mean, yeah, because you're through enough. Like your car ran out of gas, and you have to go get some, and there you're getting ticketed on top of it. Man, it's harsh.
That's some bullshit.
Gotta have like a gas can in your trunk at all times or something.
Right.
Also in Youngstown, Ohio, riding on the roof of a taxi cab is not allowed.
I can attest to this. You should do that anyway.
No.
Debbie Downer.
Like I'm living proof. Nope.
He said nope.
I don't think riding on the roof of any car should be allowed.
No.
I don't
I mean,
Right.
you can't legislate morality, but it's not a good idea.
I think living in Youngstown shouldn't be allowed because it is just a terrible place. It is.
And yes, Mr. Butler, going to jail on E takes a whole new meaning when you're in Youngstown, Ohio, because you're not on ecstasy, you're just on empty gas. So that there you go. Yeah.
No, you're probably on ecstasy too. That place is it's popping for stuff down there. But yeah.
In good old Toledo, Ohio.
Oh no. Oh no.
Really.
Noah's hometown.
Yeah.
Yes. So this one's for you, Simple Man. Throwing a snake at anyone is illegal.
Right. So don't be doing that, Noah.
So, what if you're Jake the Snake Roberts and the snake is dead?
Probably still banned.
That's bullshit.
So maybe Jake the Snake never toured Toledo and is
Well, yeah. Well, okay. Now when he was part of Survivor Series in Ohio, did he throw the snake or did he just drape them gently over the opponent?
I don't think that was in Toledo though.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Different city.
That's true.
Let's get one more here, and then we'll hit a couple of your questions. I want to find a good one. In Columbus, Ohio,
Oh no.
No boy.
it is illegal for stores to sell cornflakes on Sunday.
Nope. That is negative.
Okay.
That
Good.
is negative.
Like-
my sister lives in Columbus, Ohio. That is false information.
Yeah, clearly not.
Bunk.
Maybe I'll find a different one since that one is no longer in effect.
Yeah,
Myth
I mean,
debunked. Yeah.
cornflakes?
That
Like
must
what is wrong with cornflakes on Sunday? If Jesus can have his crackers, then I can have my cornflakes. Like, you know.
Hey, Jesus loves you anyway. If you have cornflakes on Sunday, Jesus is still going to love you.
Right?
Cocoa Puffs, though, out of the question.
Oh, that's not true. Jeez. All right.
What about Christchurch?
In Oxford, Ohio. In Oxford, Ohio, it is illegal to drive around the town square more than 100 times in a single session.
Yeah, I could see that because you're just doing the disturbance at that point.
Right.
Who is that bored though? To do that 100 times, like
hang out in some
3 times maybe,
like
3 times maybe, like you don't know where you're going. If you're doing it 100 times, you are like, you're doing it for a reason. You have to be.
Well, meth is very popular here in Ohio. I'm just throwing that out there. It is a true story. So I could see that.
Rev Nation says, I can only imagine the meetings in which these laws are made. On today's docket, we have riding on the roof of taxis, women's panties reflecting on men's shoes, and loose tigers.
Now, it's their panties reflecting on their own shoes. That's a
right. Yeah. Good grief.
But anyway, that is Weird Law Wednesday for Ohio. Definitely some very interesting ones. I do like the insight of people from the state. So maybe we should plan this a little more in advance and be like, hey, we'll find somebody from the states and we'll see if any of these laws are verified or if they're even aware of them.
Right. Now, forgive my memory issues. You had done Pennsylvania already, right?
Yeah, Pennsylvania, I believe, was the first one I did.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
I remember watching that very first show.
Right. Cool. I don't know if we've done Maryland, and Big G lived in Maryland, so we might have to hit that.
There we go.
Yeah,
so that might be a future episode. So
I think Arkansas would be good too.
Yeah,
weird Arkansas. Yeah.
We'll definitely hit. I'm gonna have to run through the states I've done because I've done them completely out of order. There's no rhyme or reason to which state I pick, so I'm gonna have to be like, okay, I hit this state, this state, this state, and this state. I got to figure out which one. I still got more to do, but
yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we'll definitely need to expand at some point internationally and go into like weird province laws or weird country laws, and then do this.
You can do Germany
if it gets that far.
Oh, we will.
Right, get with Cass. See what's up there.
Yeah. All right, Wednesday Q&A. Well, we're only going to answer a couple questions because we're definitely going over time, which is fine. I mean, it's good discussion, good times with all you guys. Appreciate y'all being on the show. Let's look into the comments, see what we got. I know we had a couple questions. I have to go back a little bit, but keep sending in your questions as I look for.
We're going to ask for Kentucky and Alaska next week, if that helps your decision-making process.
Kentucky and Alaska. Well, we'll do one or the other. We'll do.
Here you go. Here's one, Greg.
Okay.
How would you book Undertaker's retirement?
It's already booked. It's already done. I don't need to book it.
Right.
There's no sense in overbooking what's already done. And if it's not done, for the love of God, Mark, stop. It's been 30 years just in WWE. You had years before that. Stop. You've done enough. Okay? We love you. Now go away. It's something my dad told my brother one time when he was on camera. It's like, okay, we love you. Now get out of here. You know,
that's it. So, all right, I'll ask 3 of you since you guys follow it more than I do. So I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. You guys are NFL fans. Who do you think makes Super Bowl as we sit here going into week, whatever it is, 13 or 12?
I'm going to be biased. I think it'll be either Steelers Seahawks or Steelers Saints.
Steelers Saints Super Bowl, I would be down.
That'd be sick. That'd be good.
I would be down for that. That would be fun. Whether or not Drew Brees is back for that remains to be seen. I honestly doubt he will be because the severity of his injuries sounded pretty nasty.
Yeah.
So I would. I would do that. Steelers Saints sounds good. I'd say Steelers Packers, but the Packers are starting to lose a little bit of steam.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I would go that route either. A part of me wants to do Steelers Tampa Bay because I'm a little crazy and I'd like for us to beat Tom Brady in the playoffs at least once. So
Right.
probably that too. The AFC representative, I'm biased, is going to be Pittsburgh. And if it's not Pittsburgh,
The Chiefs.
yeah, it's probably going to be Kansas City.
Yeah. What city you, Cleaver?
Well, I mean, New Orleans and Pittsburgh would not be a bad matchup, to be honest with you. But either would Kansas City and New Orleans. So, but with the way Pittsburgh's been playing this year, I for sure see them clinching that spot. Unfortunately, in my opinion. But, yeah, I'll stick with New Orleans, man. I'm not a huge Seattle fan. I know a couple years ago when everyone became like straight front runners because they actually won something, but I was not one of them. I feel the better matchup again would be Pittsburgh and New Orleans. So
yeah, if the Steelers and the Seahawks played each other, it would be a repeat of Super Bowl 40. The Steelers would beat the Seahawks again, in my opinion. And it's so weird because all four of our teams are still playoff eligible right now. I mean, the Cowboys, as of this recording, are not, but they are still in the hunt to be in the playoffs. And I was thinking about this last night. It could be the weirdest thing if the NFC East representative makes and wins the Super Bowl. They could be the first team in NFL history to win the Super Bowl with a losing record.
Yeah.
That is, I'm not going to say it's going to happen because there's only 5 weeks left. So the best anybody in the NFC East can do, I mean, this is week 12, right? Yeah, week 12.
Yeah, week 12.
So, well, maybe six because there's 17 weeks. So the best they can do is 9-6-1 or 9-7. That's the best anybody in the NFC East can do. Yeah. And I just don't see it happening because, I mean, the NFC East is still the dumpster fire. I would laugh, honestly, if a 5-11 team made the playoffs. I can see that happening with the games that are left on the schedule. If Washington were to beat Dallas and then go to Pittsburgh and the Steelers blow them out, you know, it's going to come down to week 17 for that division. I truly believe.
Yep.
And that tie against Cincinnati might make the difference for the Eagles.
Yeah, it would be.
But we'll see.
We will see. And the Browns, what are they? Are they 5th or 6th in the playoff hunt right now?
5th.
They're 5th? Okay. So they would play whoever is the 4th seed if the season ended today.
Yeah.
So the Browns are still in. The Ravens are not because they lost to the Titans. And the Titans, I believe, are still playoff eligible. There's just so much that can happen in a 6-week span. And even during the playoffs, it's hard to call right now. But if the season ended right now, then those are our picks.
Yeah, right now, Cleveland is... Right now, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 1 seed, Chiefs, 2nd seed, Buffalo, 3rd, Colts, 4th, Tennessee, 5th, Cleveland, 6th, and Raiders, 7th. And then
so the Ravens aren't even in the playoffs right now.
Ravens are 8th, and Dolphins are right behind them.
Yep.
Well, here's a question. Where did that come from?
Ooh, interesting. No.
For Colin and Big G, what are your final thoughts going into Friday's WTC finale? It is myself against Virtue. My hope of becoming a 1,000-day champion rests on this match. This is the last one I have to do.
It's been an interesting season, to say the least. There have been some barn burners. Been some like matches that just like, really, what's going on here? You know, there's been some close matches. there's been some matches where Greg has pretty much dominated. I'm trying to think. Virtue was on the very first episode with you, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
I can't remember. I have to go back and see the score. I don't remember.
I done whoop that ass for that.
Okay.
It was one sided, but this
So
has been
hopefully-
3 years ago. Virtue's known about this match for a long time.
Yeah. So hopefully he's prepared himself. You know, I like both guys, but I'm always gonna go with the Greg Cherry. You know, that's me being biased, whatever. I don't care. But whatever happens, Greg, on Friday, whether you win, you lose, you've made history, like in the wrestling trivia world, you know, in the NoDQ world, you know, 900 some days, or it'll be 1,000 days. So props to you. I mean, that's a lot of shit that you know. That makes me feel like, well, damn, I've been watching wrestling that long too, and you know, you gotta. It's small things that you remember that makes me like, holy crap, this guy is like one of the smartest guys that I know out there right now. So props to you, Greg. I can't wait to watch it because I'll be watching that and obviously the post game show. So those are my thoughts, Colin.
Well, I'm excited for it. It's been a fun couple-year ride with everything. This is what, season 3, correct? Am I right?
Actually, it's season 8 overall, but it's been a few seasons with Greg as the guy.
Yeah. So
I have been champion since the end of season 3.
okay. So I unfortunately, because I'm excited, I get to go back to work on Friday finally, and
Right.
you know, make some freaking money. But so I'll be at work. I'm gonna put it on the speaker. I'm gonna try to chime in on the chat when I can.
Cool.
I hope you hit your days, but I also love a good upset. You know what I mean? So, you know, you're a beast either way. We all know this. Like, I'm not going to sit here and kiss anyone's ass, but this has been fun. I'm excited because we know how knowledgeable Virtue is, and we obviously know how knowledgeable you are. So this is Pittsburgh versus Cleveland on a different format.
Pretty much.
So, you know, I guess wear your colors, tell him to wear his colors, and we'll get it on. But I'm excited for this. I wish you both good luck. And, you know, win or lose, you're the GOAT, dude. That's all I'm going to say. So,
And I do want to bring up, just as a programming note, Wrestling Trivia Challenge typically airs at 6 o'clock Eastern. This time it's going to be a little different because Notre Dame plays Friday afternoon. So I am going to be watching that game. Wrestling Trivia Challenge will be moved to 7 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, that's fine.
To give me time to process what happened in the Irish game and also to give me time to get on for the chat and whatnot. And then after all is said and done, we will be doing the post game. Either it is over for me at 9:93, or it'll be a week early celebration because December 4th, which is my parents' anniversary, funny enough.
Nice.
It will be day 1000. So either history is made by the biggest upset in wrestling trivia history, let's be honest, or I cement my legacy with. There aren't many people who have held a championship for 1,000 days. I think Bruno Sammartino did it. Hogan did it. Dan Severn did it. Technically, Moolah did, but there's a lot of dispute about that reign.
Yeah.
It's a very, very short list. And should I beat Virtue on Friday, I'm going to be on that list. So
he just made the list.
We will see what happens. Thank you guys for the questions. Everybody, all of you Americans, enjoy Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Whether it's virtually or if you have the ability to spend time with family, then do that. Be safe. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. We will see you Friday on Wrestling Trivia Challenge. 7 o'clock Eastern, not 6 o'clock. Subscribe to the Greg Cherry brand, subscribe to the Jeff Meacham Network, subscribe to the NoDQ channel. It's airing on all three of those. So if you're subscribed to one or multiple, you'll be able to see it. And you will also see the post game immediately after. So,
and let me just clarify. Usually we do 2 separate streams, 1 continuous show, all from 7 o'clock on, folks. So
Gotcha. Okay.
stay tuned.
yep, it'll all be in one video. The StreamYard links are already set up. So if you're subscribed to one or multiple of those channels, you see the link. It's available Friday at 7 o'clock Eastern. That is when we were kicking off. It's going to be a simulcast. It's going to be a history-making episode, one way or the other. I'm, you know what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping to hit that 1,000 days because that's been the goal for. How long has that been a goal? Yeah,
It's about 900 some days.
Right, yeah. Once we had that number on the horizon, it really like okay, let's
Sink in.
and get there. It's just it's gonna be good. We're gonna have, like I said, we're gonna have the whole trivia match, the entire thing, the whole way through on all 3 channels, and then take a brief little potty break. Let's be honest, for good old JM. And then we'll get into the post game, man, and we're either way Friday night. We're gonna make sure we find a way to have fun. Win, lose, whatever. We're gonna make a fun night out of Friday, and there's a reason I took tomorrow off on any shows on the network, on my network. There's no rewind tomorrow. I want everybody at home to focus on home and the fact that you've got your family. Do the Thanksgiving thing. If you're not American, go buy a turkey somewhere else and do it anyway. Whatever. I don't give a shit. It's just enjoy family time tomorrow. Get that hashtag out there. Get up there, but don't do it in Ohio. About Cherry being on Quizlemania. And then we'll see you Friday.
yes. I love the callback, Jeff. I really appreciate the callback.
Rocky Horror callbacks are ingrained in my soul forever. I blame the community for that, and that's okay.
Curtis Butler says the Bruno Sammartino of wrestling trivia. It's a Pittsburgh thing, brother.
Dude, Pittsburgh knows how to hold on to championships. They do. So there you go.
Defense wins championships.
Yes.
Defense wins championships.
And again, defense.
Yes. And as of today, before the Virtue match, I have 35 successful defenses. So this will be number 36, the Jerome Bettis of defenses. And he's a Hall of Famer who we went to see in Canton, Ohio. But we didn't have to worry about any Tigers being loose. So.
No, just about. Never mind.
So, Quizlemania is on tonight. If you decide that you want to support me with the hashtag Cherry for Quizlemania, $5 super chat. They don't read anything other than those. Let them know you want to see the greatest wrestling trivia mind ever. Buy the shirt. It's on the Teespring store. Let them know you want to see me, a guy who has almost hit 1,000 days as champion, and maybe next week I will. Let them know you want to see me on the main stage of Quizlemania for Big G, for the Cleaver Colin Andrew, for the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham. I am, of course, your wonderful, if I can say that word, wonderful, there we go, host, Sylvester Turkey. And we will see you guys next time. Hashtag Cherry for Quizlemania on The Greg Cherry Show.